Hey team, so if we're just answering some questions that we're having after class. There's a few people after class, and we're talking about some things that are happening with the whole Bitcoin crash and some warnings for some people. And one of the questions that we had is we're talking about the ultimate dip. If Bitcoin has this major crash, some things to worry or to be concerned about. So right now the topic is leverage, and I said I want to hit the record button so we can put this on YouTube. So I'm going to put this on YouTube. But Terrence was asking about the leverage, and we know from Prophet Robin that there is some concern if that we shouldn't be leveraging during this time, and we don't know. What the section he may be specifically talking about, but I'm gonna go over some few scenarios. Number one, if you bought Bitcoin right here, just say we bought Bitcoin at 46,000 and you're leveraged with the 3x token. If Bitcoin has a massive spike down to zero, even if it's just for 5 minutes, it comes down, it comes back up, you will lose your money and you're going to be liquidated because your leverage, your exchange will not handle a dip that low and still keep you in your position. Once you get down to a certain negative, they're going to say, you can't handle anymore. They're going to cut you out of your transaction. So I want you guys to be aware that that kind of thing is a very possible scenario, something that can happen. Another thing we were talking about right now is that is it possible to make money on leverage? Yes, it is. It is possible. Like if you have a leverage coin that is more on a established exchange that can do leverage, then you can place buy orders at low Bitcoin prices, and as prices falling, you should get filled, and then you should go up. Now I'm not talking about those numbers specifically online on here, but I'll take this moment to just say everything you see in today's video or any of my videos is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. It's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast, and so should you. And if you do, you're going to get a tummy ache, I can almost guarantee. So trading and eating red crayons is all at your own risk. With that said, just be remembering, guys, that during a flash crash, it's going to be if you're doing leverage, be careful. Because you may not get filled. Now, if you place an order, just say halfway down from here to zero, and you place it halfway, it's possible that when you place that leverage order, you can also be liquidated on the way down. So it's more better to buy at spot rather than at leverage, because if you buy it, you still own it. Even if it goes down to zero, you still own it. The only way you're not going to own it is if Bitcoin goes away completely, which could happen in another type of crash, which I expect right now at the end, possibly at the end of this year, 2022. So we're going over the different timelines, and I wanted to talk about some of these things. Prophet Robin says, kind of hinting that Coinbase is shady. It's very possible, and it's possible that that's where the crash can happen. There's also intel that the crash can happen exchange specific, and that you can see these spikes happen, as price comes down only on some exchanges and not on another. In class right now, after class, I was just going over different examples on how this spike down on Bitcoin on the 3rd and 4th actually looks different than on other exchanges. There's so many different exchanges that are handling this spike or are going to look at the price, and some of the exchanges may not show the exact price that price went down to, especially if it's so fast, because all the exchanges have their own data feed, and they're also sharing that data feed with the public. Now they may be corrupt and have an internal data feed. That's not for the scope of this conversation. But in keeping with that conversation about corruption, I did want to point out something else. There are exchanges such as Robinhood where you don't own the crypto. You actually own a piece of Robinhood, but you don't own the crypto. This has already come out in evidence and shown through the lawsuits that are being done against them when people were trying to buy silver, and when people were trying to buy certain cryptos. They were starting to buy those meme coins. What was that? The one, GameStop. They were prevented from selling their GameStop. And the reason why they would be prevented from selling their cryptos is because Robinhood would lose a lot of money. How would Robinhood lose money? Well, the reason is because when people were placing their buy orders saying buy GameStop, they sent a message to the people saying, yep, we bought it for you. But did they buy it for you? No, they didn't. All they bought was a piece of themselves. And the reason they did that is because they don't have a business model that's really set up for you to own. because it actually costs money for them to do that. Now, they try to go before Congress and said, oh, it's the overhead cost and all this stuff. But the truth of the matter is that they have a shady business model where you're telling them, hey, buy this. And they said, okay. And they just put the money in their pocket. And that happened to my family when we were growing up. We were renting a house, and my family tried to rent a house, and we were paying the person rent, and that person was like, okay. And they weren't going to the bank until one day, 3 months later, we get a knock at the door, and what happened? We're getting evicted. Okay. And when we got evicted from the house, we called him up and say, hey, what's going on? And you know what happened? He went and hightailed it up to California or a different state. This type of thing is wrong. It's morally wrong. And it happened, and it happens to people who are doing Robinhood at that time. Now, as long as the cryptos are within range, it's like a Ponzi scheme. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay, they make money in other areas and then they pay you, but they're not actually paying you until the market actually does it and people knock on the door and say, hey, pay up. And now they're at a loss. They don't have any money to pay you, or their business model would really suffer. This is the type of corruption that we see actually happening, guys. And because this type of thing happens in the markets, I'm here today to let everyone know that there may be some exchanges that can do this in addition to Robinhood. And this also may be a warning why Prophet Robin saw that there may be some exchanges that are going to be doing some shady stuff. So, for example, what I mean by this is that you can put a leveraged order in during the, saying, hey, I think Bitcoin's going to go to, just say $400, right? You put it for $400 and you may put a 3x coin leverage on an exchange like, I don't know if it's KuCoin or whatever, I don't know. We don't know which ones are, or it could be, Robinhood or, Coinbase. And then price goes all the way down and your order is filled and it goes up and they're not paying you your 3x leverage because maybe they would lose a lot of money. And then all of a sudden you're going to see some of these exchanges just close out of the door and hightail it to Tahiti. Has that happened before? Yes, it has. We've seen reports on the internet and on the news of some of these crypto exchanges, some of the more lesser known exchanges, just closing the doors, not letting people access their funds anymore. And the truth is that their coins were never on the actual blockchain, but they were just with the exchange only. And those exchange owners took all the money and ran and hightailed it out of there and thought they would get away with it. Some of them got caught. Some of them turned themselves in. This has happened. And does it happen? Can it happen again? It can if there's shadiness going on. What? Is there shadiness that happens in the market? You bet, especially in crypto. And the reason is because they say it's like the Wild West. It is like the Wild West. It is like that because of Tether. Tether is not regulated. Hey, Tether market is that whole USDT kind of thing, the Tether dynamic. It is the unregulated printing of cryptocurrency money as it's the safe harbor for money for cryptocurrency. So it's like the Federal Reserve. They can just print money and no one can stop them. Okay. Right now, even the Federal Reserve is regulated somewhat by Congress, but even then the bankers are ones that have secret controls of these things. We know these things. That's why they print money and like crazy. And really, who's there to keep them in check? Who's there to really make sure they're all printing exactly what they need? And your dollars are at stake. Now, here's what's happening with Tether. Tether has the ability to print more to keep the market in balance. But the truth is, we don't know if Tether actually has dollar for dollar what they say they have. Tether says that, hey, our Tether is $1 and we have $1 for every crypto. So if everybody wanted their money today, you got it. But right now, most of their money is tied up in different cryptos. So the truth is that's not the case. It's going to be exposed. We already have knowledge that this is going to happen. We even have prophetic intel that stuff is not what it seems. We have knowledge from the intel community that Tether is corrupt, and that if everyone today sold Bitcoin and got out and just was holding their Tether dollars, there's not enough Tether dollars available for everyone who has it. And so what happens is the house of cards is going to be exposed. Now, I believe that kind of stuff is going to happen next at the end of this year or in our future, but I don't think it's going to be that much longer. I believe that's part of the liquidity crisis that will trigger the ultimate crash. And I don't think that even if Bitcoin goes down right now, is that part of that ultimate crash. That ultimate crash will be an event that will cause XRP to activate for its utility aspect. But I did want everybody to know that I am expecting this type of action. The other thing I wanted to say about this video is so that about that leverage thing is that be careful if you're buying leverage on an exchange, because if they lose too much money, like you say you buy a 3x coin and you make 3 times 30,000, some of these exchanges could be like, uh-oh, we don't really have the money to pay out all these people. So they may hightail it and just up and close, or get tied up in litigation, or stop people from accessing their cryptos. And you may be out of luck. You may not just be out of luck with the money you made, but the money you already have invested. So Prophet Robin seemed to be hinting at possible Coinbase. I don't know if this is going to be the exchange. I don't know, but be careful with that. I have an exchange. I have on KuCoin. Sorry, I have an exchange on KOT4X. When I use leverage, I use KOT4X, and so far they seem really good to do that kind of stuff. If you are doing a leverage, just be super careful. If you think price is going to $500, make sure you have more than $500 so that you can handle if price goes to zero. Because if you place an order for 500 and it goes to zero on a leverage, you can lose all of your money and have your margin canceled out. So just be careful. You want to make sure you have enough leverage to handle a move down to zero. And I think very few people are going to be able to navigate that very successfully. Okay, so I think it might be more wiser to just buy spot. If you can only afford one Bitcoin order at $500 or whatever, place that if you wanted to, but maybe stay away from leveraging during these times because of these things. Jamal says, in the last calendar year, 1 to 2.5 years, I heard that at least 2 to 4 CEOs of crypto exchanges disappearing, reportedly dying after they presumably were in a foreign country, never to be found. Whoa. In the last calendar year, 1.5 to 2 years, I heard of at least 2 to 4 CEOs of crypto exchanges disappearing. Yep, it's probably a Ponzi scheme. Says, I remember that. In fact, I had a conversation with one of my students who was an investor of GameStop stock. And then he says, I imagine many exchanges would liquidate their customers and disappear with customer funds. Yes, that's why it's important to use solid, historically strong, maybe even regulated exchanges. If you possibly can, get it. Terrence says, buy spot. So 100% smart move. Ready to learn. Great. So I wanted to make sure that I get this part of the video out there to have this discussion about these kinds of things. Make sure you guys are just aware. Beware of the spot. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, I'm going to make another video about this, about some of the intel, but I'll stop this part of the video here because I want you guys to have it. But I am going to be making a video later today with a video showing a video that somebody was sent to me, and we're going to talk about some more aspects of this and how you guys can get ready. But I did want to say one last thing about these things. It is possible that the whole crash events that happen are broken up into different segments, meaning first a crash, settlement, and then ultimate crash. I really believe from all the intel we've gathered, and we were talking about this before I hit the record button again, that a lot of these things will happen in 2 different areas, and that's because of all the intel I've gathered. I believe that the whole Tether collapsing will be part of the XRP activation, and I think that part of the activation will mean XRP getting to 25 cents before all of these things happen. Even if we come down from like $90 XRP all the way down to 25 cents, I think that would still be the time to really, really go before we launch. I think there's going to be another flash crash event, and that will be towards a liquidity crisis. Personally, I believe that that type of event is going to last a full around 5 to 7 days, and you're going to see markets in the tanks, and then all of a sudden the XRP flip of the switch due to the utility aspect of it, and we're going to need it, and that's going to be the first out of the market. And then after that, some of the regulated coins will be activated afterwards. The ISO 200 type 222 coins, XTC, XLM, and then Algorand. Yeah, a few of those ISO 220 coins, because they're already in regulated positions. They're the first out the doors. You're going to see that kind of stuff happen during the liquidity crisis, and also during that time, many cryptos will never come to be after again, especially after they're exposed, because many cryptos are not going to be regulated, nor can they be. So that's going to be its own separate event. And I really taken all the data from prophetic intel, from intel community, from different intel communities. This is the picture that I'm actually seeing very, very clearly. That during that regulation, many cryptos are going to be down, and some will be out of the count forever. I think Shiba is going to go away forever during those days. But it's not to say that Shiba is not going to have a good run, or some of these cryptos are going to have a good run or make money longer term. Some of these cryptos are going to make fantastic money longer term. But some of them are going to go away longer term. In shorter term, there's going to be opportunities to be made. And I believe most of those opportunities are going to happen this year. There's going to be some big setups, some big pumps, but also times to buy and some flash crash moments. One of the things I wanted to end this is with, because USDT is already set up in position, just like I told you guys. I showed you guys way back here, we were going up to here. Once we passed here, I said, hey guys, once we're past here, we're going up to here. So I'm letting everybody know, guys, we're going up here. If this chart goes up, cryptos come down. When this chart goes up, cryptos come down, especially if it goes up in certain pumps. Every time you have these big, massive pumps, here up, here down, and here up, here up. When you have these breakouts, look what happened to cryptos, especially XRP and Bitcoin. Okay, so now I'm expecting one last pump, and we're building structure on top of here. We already had this nice round cut. I said, guys, we're going up, and we were building up on so many levels of evidence. 2 sword cuts and mid phantom right here. We were popping up, and we popped up back down to this solid red line. I drew these lines for you guys months ago. Now we're building up evidence on top of here, rounding off again. I think that over the next month, sometime, it could be even this, it could be tomorrow, whatever, we're going to have a massive pump up. But here's some of the intel we're receiving. And I'm going to go over this again in the second video, as well as showing you some other stuff. But there are some intel that when you see this move up, during that time, that hack is going to happen. So you'll see price go up, and that means Bitcoin should fall around 33 to 35,000. That's what I'm getting. When we see this, I'm expecting Bitcoin around 33, 35,000. That's what I expect. When we do this, Bitcoin 33, 35, okay? When that happens, some intel that we're getting from prophetic community is that it's possible the hack will happen around that 33, 35,000 moment. And that spike, it will look like a giant, massive spike all the way down and come right back up, because the hack won't last long. But because of that, that means we can combine these events together. Now, just say it didn't happen like that, and just say it happens in reverse. Say that the hack happened first. Well, if the hack happened first, then at the end of the day, this chart should end up more or less around here. Well, that means that this will go way up into the sky and come back down. And we should more or less end the day around here. Okay? Even if that happens, you're going to see a lot of cryptos get now into better position or better prices. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So I look forward to spending time with you guys, examining more markets as these events, at these hacking events happen. And we're going to cover more of that in a video that I'm going to share. So we're going to actually review a video that was sent to me by one of our members and Dive, and my Dive live stream classes. Jamal's raising his hand. Jamal, yes, what question did you have, Jamal? Yes, yes, that's exactly what I mean. What I mean is you won't be able to buy it at just like, hey, here's Bitcoin at this price, I'm buy. What I mean by spot, I shouldn't say that. I mean, like spot, like in spot forex market. So you place a limit order, but not buying it on leverage. So the opposite of leverage is spot. But I guess that's great. That's a great to clear that up. You need to get this. You're not going to be able to just go in the market and do it. It's going to happen too fast. You're going to have your limit order already in place. So I should take that back. Is there another word for? I should say buy that limit. How about that? Buy that limit. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So if you guys are listening, he's absolutely right. That's you can't buy this at. My verbiage was incorrect. The word is not spot. The word is at limit, because you're not gonna be able. Nobody's gonna be able to do this. Even Prophet Sharon had visions when she was supposed to buy at certain cryptos, and she was so panicked because in the dream she was like, oh, I didn't get it. I missed it. I don't know how I missed it. And she saw that she didn't have time to log in and all that stuff like that. All of this stuff needs to happen in advance. Before the class began, I told everybody that I'm placing mines tomorrow or this evening at a certain price. In a and I told them what price I was doing. That's just me personally, okay. But this stuff is not public information. But you want to make sure that you have some type of order in advance, ready to go, because you're not. No one's going to be able to wake up in the middle of the night as these things are doing it and doing it. I can almost guarantee you. What happens during these times is you often see the market turn red. So Jamal says, I suggest people look up how to place a limit order. So yes, you can do that. And then also we were talking about if people really, really needed help. I am doing some type of. I'll make some type of consulting where I was having a for like $30, where you guys need to just spend an hour with me. I'll help you walk you through all your hands for my time. If you guys really need to, if you guys are one of my Dive members or Patreons, we'll help you do that. If not, you guys can get together with each other to help. If you guys need some of these limit orders, or you can do some research on how to place a limit order. But that's how you're going to do it. I just want everybody ready, because remember this: the purpose for this is to have seed money going into the future. There's a lot of people that don't have money to invest in crypto. Not that it takes much. You can get started with just like $100, but there's people who don't have any money, and I believe that the reason the Lord revealing these things to His prophets and to His people is to help people get in a position to have some seed money to be able to take advantage of many of the opportunities, because we know these opportunities are going to come. We know the tremendous potential. So in a few days, when you see the market flash crash here, a lot of cryptos are going to be good prices. And there's some things that people need to be getting a hold of. Sharon says, yes, 100% limit orders preset in advance. And then I did want to talk about this part, is that not everybody's going to be able to get. Not every exchange is going to allow you to go that low. Some exchanges were not allowing you to go as low as $6,000. That was the lowest some exchanges were letting you go. And then somebody told me, I don't know if it was you, Jamal, or Mark W, but he was telling me that you can use Qcoin, and that's the one I'm going to be using placing mine on. Is on Qcoin, you can get down to almost zero placing it, but be careful placing it at zero, because I'm letting everyone know that even if price goes down to that low, there are whales, there are people who know about this information who already have buy orders placed. And I have people in my Telegram community and the admin team, and they've already crunched some of these numbers. They've already showed me some of the numbers that they pulled, and they saw that many orders were already placed at $25. And because of that, there's a high chance you're not going to be filled at 25. So even if price goes to zero, you may not have filled at 25. So be careful placing it too low. There's going to be people who are not going to make this money. Okay. Yep. Image of a buy order on Qcoin. Here, Jamal sending me an image of a buy order on KuCoin. See if I can show this to you guys. Mm-hmm. Zoom in 1 second. The resolution's really low. I can't. It won't show. It just looks like a bunch of blurry. Um, no problem. No problem. Well, I'll try to show what I can show here. Here, let me share my screen 1 second. Um, um, yeah, yeah. You know what? The only thing is I'm recording this, so it won't show everyone's recording or you guys' faces on YouTube. Okay, but I'll try to save it for the next video when I do, because I have one more video I'm gonna make today, um, about this with the latest video, and it's a recording of a friend that I have, and he's received specific dreams from the Lord about these things, and he felt really compelled to share with us, and I felt really good about sharing the video, so we talked about it. And he said, "Yeah, go ahead and share it on YouTube. I want people to have this information." So I'll be sharing that video today. I'll make sure that you guys can hear the sound of the video. I want to make sure I test it all out before releasing it. Okay, so I'll end this video for you guys watching on YouTube, and I'll post this, guys, a little bit later. I'll see you guys soon. Cue the outro music one more time. And it's good that I made that video right now because, end broadcast.